In February 2022, during an exercise off the coast of Hawaii, the bridge of the USS Essex went completely dark. The crew lost all satellite feeds, digital charts, and GPS positioning. On a multi-billion-dollar warship, losing the entire navigation array usually triggers an immediate, chaotic crisis protocol. Instead, the crew barely raised their voices. Quartermasters calmly stepped out onto the bridge wings, looked up at the sky, and raised a brass sextant, an instrument engineered in the 18th century. For the next 5 days, the crew steered an 1,800-mile course across the open Pacific, calculating their speed and heading entirely by hand. They arrived at their San Diego landfall exactly on schedule. The most technologically advanced military in human history had deliberately shut down its own digital nervous system, forcing its sailors to rely on the stars to find their way home. Every modern navigational screen is a digital projection. If the data feeding those screens is compromised, the ship is blind. Operating safely requires a physical backup that does not rely on a signal. That vulnerability exists because global commerce and military logistics rely on the Global Positioning System. The 31 satellite network orbits roughly 20,000 kilometers above the Earth. Their signals must push through the ionosphere, the atmosphere, and dense cloud cover. By the time that transmission reaches a receiver at sea level, its strength has dropped to roughly 50 watts, the equivalent of a refrigerator light bulb trying to shine across an ocean. Because the signal is so faint, a cheap ground-based transmitter can easily overpower it with electronic noise. This is jamming. A more insidious threat is spoofing. Instead of blocking the signal, an attacker transmits a counterfeit data stream that perfectly mimics the actual satellite. The ship's computers accept this forged data as reality. The coordinates shift smoothly on the electronic charts, and the warning alarms never sound. GPS is a broadcast of data. When that broadcast is forged, a ship's own navigation screens become a weapon against the crew. This manipulation is already happening daily. Electronic warfare has disrupted civilian and military transit across the Baltic Sea, the Red Sea, and the Strait of Hormuz. In May 2025, the container ship MSC Antonia received spoofed coordinates. The crew believed they were safely navigating a deep water channel. The forged data actually steered them directly into a shallow reef. A month later, the Front Eagle collided with the tanker Adeline off the coast of the United Arab Emirates. When electronic instruments lie, the physical consequences involve thousands of tons of steel and millions of barrels of crude oil. This manipulation also creates impossible phenomena on global tracking systems. Commercial ships routinely vanish from their ocean routes and appear hundreds of miles inland, hovering over airports. In the Black Sea, trackers have recorded massive cargo vessels seemingly drifting in perfect high-speed circles. When the data feed is corrupted, a navigator's greatest risk is no longer drifting off course. It is being confidently directed into a collision by their own instruments. Recognizing this fragility, the United States Naval Academy reversed a 20-year policy in 2015 and mandated that all midshipmen once again learn celestial navigation. The military is supplementing human quartermasters with a technology called the Automated Celestial Navigation System, or ACNS. Using highly specialized optics, the system autonomously scans the sky to lock on to the physical reality of stars. Traditionally, the atmosphere scatters blue light from the sun, hiding stars during the day. By using short-wave infrared sensors, ACNS cuts through that scattered light, tracking stellar bodies in broad daylight. The onboard computer simultaneously tracks these natural stars alongside low Earth orbit satellites, instantly calculating the ship's position down to a few meters. ACNS abandons the reliance on weak, falsifiable radio signals. It derives its coordinates directly from the geometry of the physical universe. This shift represents a transition to a zero-trust architecture in maritime navigation. Modern vessels now cross-reference their data against multiple independent systems, layering terrestrial radio frequencies, internal inertial sensors, and automated optical star trackers. In this architecture, constellations serve as a fixed physical baseline, a mathematical certainty that cannot be jammed or spoofed by terrestrial transmitters. When electronic warfare collapses the digital horizon, The physical universe provides an anchor that remains an absolute, verifiable truth. In an era where every data stream is a potential vector for attack, the stars provide the only permanent, untouchable baseline for reality.